Welcome to another episode of Lightspeed Investing Podcast. I've got Cara Wilson back again. She is the owner of Taking Cara Business, a leadership development specialist that's been around for 25 years now. So, Cara, on this episode, we're really going to finish off of our podcast series by doing final deep dive into the Cara method, right? On earlier episodes, we kind of talked about your personal journey of how not only did you stumble upon leadership development, but how you were born for it, and essentially making that jump right from working as a managerial supervisory role, a leadership role, so to speak, within companies to now venturing out and running your own leadership business. And, super excited to really finish off the episode series with the most meatiest section of all. So I'll let you talk about, the Cara method for those who haven't listened in, and, how we're going to finish off everything today.
Yes, I'm so excited. So we've already talked about clarify and assess, right? The first two parts of the Cara method. So today we really get to dive into how we realign. We've kind of started to touch on that around the Magic 3, which we've brought up a few times, the way we think, the way we speak, and the way we behave. But we're really going to look at how can you, regardless of what is going on, take back your energy. What are some of the, we call them the BAMs, the bare ass minimums that you can do in your life because you've already got skills, tools, and mindsets for all of these that are already working. So that's where we start our realignment. If you are experiencing there's something inherently wrong with me belief system, that dependent BS, you have skills for that. When you were a toddler, that brainstem space, you learned to play. Now, in the Cara method, play is another, it's a framework within a framework. So it means to practice lifelong activity and youth. With that, you can do any job. You can join operations and behaviors by practicing lifelong activity and youth. So the job of play is a skill builder. You have the skill of play, which means regardless what job is in front of you, already have tools that will let you learn that, will let you build that skill, right? So that if there is something inherently wrong with you, you can fix it. You've been doing it your whole life, whether you meant to or not. But it looks different. This comes up, this is probably particularly important, this particular step for the folks that work with you with Lightspeed Investing, because they've decided they're going to launch into something new. They've decided that they're going to learn this new thing. And anytime we start somewhere new, it brings up that dependent BS, that idea that everyone else already knows what they're doing. I'm the one who's falling behind. So
Mhm.
make it fun. Look at the candlesticks and imagine them as candles, like actual candles that are dancing around waiting for you to grab them. It's exactly the same thing as what you're doing, but you are allowed to play at it. And it is going to make the skill of learning that job so much easier, right? That takes us then to the there's something wrong with you BS, that there's something wrong with somebody else, that teenage space, that independent BS space. Luckily, you have already learned to learn, which is the top tool that is going to help you accomplish any work that you want to do. So again, more frameworks within frameworks, because that's what the Cara method is all about, is building these within so that we're creating these connections. It's that whole, rather than trying to unlearn a habit, we're going to leverage what you already have and start creating those little neuro babies so that they start firing and connecting all across. And you're like, oh, I can do these things. So there's other people, this independent BS, the learn, listen, earn ability, reflect, and network to learn. You've already learned to learn. Your whole life you have been learning new things. And that will help you. That tool of learning, listening to other people, earning the abilities through listening and trying, and then reflecting on what you know so you can network your way to the next skill, that will help you with the work, that weekly overload of responsibility and knowledge. It is leadership 101, hashtag working with,
Mhm.
right? that's
Right.
all about learning to do the work, the weekly overload of responsibility and knowledge with other people. And you do that with a tool of learning. If you learn about why they're doing the thing that they're doing, now you're not so upset about it. You learn about the processes that their brain goes through. Suddenly you understand why they're doing what they're doing better. And it's not so intimidating because you've learned what's going on, and then you can adapt to that because it's something you've done your whole life.
So, up until this point, we have talked about the three, BSs, right? One is inherently with your own beliefs, the other one is in others, and then the other one is around the environment, right? And so to cover the BS with you're encouraging, remedy with playing at your job, right? The skills that you
Yeah,
just talked about.
learn skill.
To remedy, the BS with other people, you are, recommending the tool to learn, right? Learning why they do what they do, learning what motivates them, learning, how you can communicate better. And so, in regards to the environment, what is that last remedy, Cara?
That one is going to be the life one, right? So already in your life, you have the mindsets of both grow to fix. So your whole life, you've grown up. You
Mhm.
have set goals. You've looked at the reality of what's going on. You found the opportunity, and then you went forward with what you could do, right? Will to go forward. That's growing up. That's grow, which is a very popular acronym. Please go forth. It's not like I created that one. I created the other ones. This one's already been around for like a good bajillion years. And but it is, if you have grown up, then you already have done this. You have, whether it was because you wanted extra time in the pool in the summertime, and so you had the goal of staying an extra 5 minutes, and you looked at the reality that mom's on that side of the pool and you're on, if you go to, the opportunity is if you go to that side of the pool, she's gonna have to chase you around the entire pool. You could probably get 3 laps in before she catches you. That gets you your 5 minutes. Hey, already done it. So this is a skill you've already leveraged in your life before. It is a mindset that you know that works. And then when you take it to the fix, so if you take that grow mentality that you already have and you apply it to the fix, so that's another acronym. The future is Xenial. Xenial is a fancy word for friendly. Right.
Mm,
So the future is friendly. The future is Xenial. And
mm,
that is always true if you are willing to grow and look for a way for the future to be better and not just for yourself. It goes back to that whole leadership concept, the better with. So if you are struggling with life, it's just too much. That's the way it's always been. It's systemic. It's baked in. I don't know another way. Well, go set the goal for a different way, and then go find other people who also agree with you, and you guys can fix it together. Anything created can be recreated. There is nothing that has been the same. Like literally anything on our planet has ever existed in the exact same
okay.
way to as
Okay.
it was.
Now, since I came from the leadership space, a lot of what you said not only makes sense, right, but it clicked, really clearly for those listening who it may be their first exposure to your approach of creating remedies to overwhelmed leaders, leaders dealing with imposter syndromes, and etc. Are you able to provide concrete examples so that whatever we're discussing don't seem too abstract and theoretical and we can ground these things with real life examples?
Oh,
Perhaps, maybe client examples of people that you've worked with.
yeah. The fix, actually, the grow fix is one of my favorite client stories. They actually this client gave me content that I now use in all of my trainings because growth and fixed mindset in an emotional intelligence world are polar opposites. A fixed mindset is typically when you are hyper focused and you're limited in what you can do. And then the growth mindset is when you're expansive and you're ready to look for all the different solutions. And I was talking this through with a client. We were talking about how they're polar opposites, but because you're not just a one-way type human being, you get to leverage both. So they're the ones that helped me came up with that whole the mindset of grow to fix. Because, and here's the story that they gave me. Imagine that you are being chased in the Serengeti by a tiger, right? Your growth mindset which you have been working so diligently to create and cultivate, this ability to expand and look for solutions you've worked so hard at. It's like, I wonder if there's a tree. Can tigers climb trees? Is there a big enough building I can get on top of it? If I can get on top of it, can they get on? So your brain in that growth space is spiraling,
Mhm.
because that is where a fixed mindset is actually beneficial. When you have to focus and fix something, you actually have to do something quickly and make a decision. Your fixed brain is like, look, cliff, jump. But your growth mind is like, we might like break a bone or something. And the fixed mind is like, yeah, death, broken bone, death, a broken bone. How about you just jump? And so learning to leverage both of those allows you to navigate any situation when you're in that survival space, because there are still going to be places where that happens. Even my most successful clients who are running agencies, as well as consultancies, as well as nonprofits, as well as looking to leverage a book series, they've got all of these things going on and they are thriving most of the time. And still, there are times where you need to get into survival. Something comes up, the book publisher calls you and says that it's not going to come out in time for the launch. What do? You got to fix things. You have to have that mentality to move forward and then look for those opportunities to grow once you fix the solution. And I thought that was so good. I started putting it in all of my trainings.
That's awesome, Cara. And so obviously we can't disclose the names of the people that you work with, right, publicly, but if you kind of have to talk about a handful of stories, right, where not only have you made an impact, but after working with you, they really turned their life around. Like, what does that look like?
My favorite story for that actually is from my complimentary weekly review over in Cara Corner. We talked about that episode 1 or 2. So I have a group in Facebook, Cara Corner. Come hang out, guys. I do a complimentary weekly review on Monday, and I have a complimentary open half hour every Friday.
Okay.
In that weekly review, one of my clients had, when she started doing the review, we had already worked together and kind of got through some of the surface stuff that was going on. But in working through that review, not only did she go from, I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do for my family's housing in the next 6 months, to my daughter has opened a new revenue stream. She's decided to start a business because she saw me doing it. I've added 3 new revenue streams to my business. And I did it all because every week I took that opportunity to reflect, to disconnect from the judgment in my own brain, and use the Cara method to figure out what I was actually going to do. Not what I didn't do, not what I sucked at, not what I'm hoping to get done this next week, but what tangibly do I know I will accomplish? And when I could start living in that space of what I was accomplishing, the depression, that sadness, that hardship that we all go through when we feel like a failure started to evaporate. And suddenly the opportunities seemed to fall out of the sky. And I
Mm.
thought, I don't think there's a better phrase than that.
I love it. Yeah, no, that's obviously a really great story, and an example for a lot of other people to follow. So, Cara, I'm so excited to have unpacked your Cara method and how you help leaders, entrepreneurs, get out of overwhelm, get over imposter syndrome, amongst all the other things that they have to worry about. The world can't be a better place without Cara in it. So listen, for the listeners, right, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you, especially if they want to take advantage of some of the things that we mentioned, such as the clarity sessions or the Cara corner, right? How can they get a hold of you?
Come join Cara Corner. That's an easy one. Facebook groups, Cara Corner, Cara, Cara, all capital, and then corner. And then come onto my website, www.takingcara, business.com. You can jump right onto my calendar and let's chat. Let's talk about it. Where are you? And here's my guarantee, everyone. If you come chat with me, I cannot guarantee you that you and I are going to work together. What I can promise you is I'm going to make sure that when you leave our conversation, you have an actionable step or a connection that will get you where you need to go.
The two most important things to move the needle forward, right? Love it. So, hey, that is a cap on our 4 episode series. I'm so glad to have met you and brought you along so that we can talk more leadership. And I'm sure I'll see you again in the future in terms of future activities and collaborations together.
I cannot wait. I have so enjoyed doing this with you, and I cannot wait to see what else we can do together.
Of course. And for you, any concluding remarks for or word of wisdom for the audience right before we part ways for good?
I'm going to end with epigenetics. I think that I ended like episode 2 with the same expletive, which comes out of my mouth all the time. Epigenetics, go Google it. You're welcome. The thing that I have learned the most is not only, of course, do you know what you need to do? You really do. If you want to get expert advice from someone, you need to talk to somebody who's done what you've done as long as you have, which is you. And that's why coaching is so good. But the choice to do that, the choice to choose things that help you, that make you happy, that help progress you down the path that you want to go on, is so, so powerful. It takes 5 seconds for us to talk ourselves out of doing something. But if you can commit to doing that, go to the website, go now. Go to the Facebook group, go now. Don't overthink it, just go check it out. Not like you have to commit to a lifetime of anything, but go look. And then know that just in doing that, you have reinforced pathways in your brain that when you think something might be interesting, you go look at it. And that's powerful.
Love it. That coincides with the do it now principle from John Maxwell, actually.
Yes,
And
very
so
much.
I got that from the medical training as well as my leadership training. But it certainly is a tool and a point that successful people make sure to emphasize on. So thank you so much for that reminder. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your day.
You too. Bye, everyone.